Battlefield 2042 is a triumph for gatekeeping. Now, admittedly, I may very well be getting a bit ahead of myself here. It is entirely within the realms of possibility that 2042 will be a steaming pile of semi-liquid skunk shit to be propelled with great force and effluence into our collective faces. Yet, nevertheless, I remind you of the Battlefield 5 trailer, the now infamous cyborg whammons in World War II trailer, and what a massive reversal the 2042 one is by comparison. The most standout example would perhaps be that now that Battlefield is actually set in a setting where a cyborg woman warrior might actually make sense, there is no sign of it, not even a hint of it. Furthermore, 2042 has very clearly absolutely no pretense of being realistic in any way, shape, or form. A problem that plagued Battlefield 5 for most of its existence, as it continued to try and release little campaign short stories telling the real stories of World War II, whilst of course every step of the way cramming in as much bullshit modern day politics as humanly possible. Like, for example, the little known story of a single civilian Norwegian woman stopping the German export of heavy water from Norway to Germany to create an atomic bomb. Yes, indeed, the heavy water plant and its export was not stopped by a group of Norwegian commandos who had to cross literal mountains and frozen rivers whilst living off lichen and moss before finally hitting the heavy water plant, after the preceding commando team had failed, been captured and executed, mind you, as well. Oh no, it was all the exploits of a single rando civilian. But the fact that Battlefield 5 was not all that great of a game is hardly a point of overmuch contention. So why do I say that this is a triumph for gatekeeping? Well, it is of course due to the community's immediate response, first and foremost to the trailer, and then the continued attempt to infiltrate little bits of nonsense here and there throughout the game, which has now resulted in 2042. The trailer here has absolutely no pretenses to realism whatsoever. It's a Battlefield game. They're not made to be realistic, and any attempt to pretend that they are will only end up backfiring, particularly when you also can't resist to sprinkle in a little bit of diversity just for the shits and giggles of it. Rather, the 2042 trailer looks like a Battlefield match, complete and absolute absurd mayhem and chaos, with bullets flying literally everywhere as people drive quad bikes off the top of buildings. But perhaps even more tellingly is the fact that they have completely scrapped any and all attempts to make a single-player campaign, which I am entirely for. Now, could a Battlefield single-player campaign be good? Absolutely. Assuredly so. There is no reason why it couldn't, but DICE does not appear to be the kind of people who are capable of making such a campaign. Telling a story is one thing. Telling a story is quite another. It furthermore speaks volumes that they have chosen to do this now, with a near future title to boot. They could have had all the cyborg women they wanted and no one would have raised so much as a single solitary eyebrow, and yet there are none to see. This undoubtedly is as a direct result of the fan outrage surrounding 5, both in terms of the ideas it presented, and due to the fact that once more it just wasn't all that good of a Battlefield game. We can only hope and pray that that part of the critique has also hit home over in Sweden and refocused their efforts on making Battlefield that actually plays like Battlefield. Actually, that might be a little bit too much to hope for. Maybe in the next round of Backlash we'll get that done too. Who knows? The backlash, though, is the important part. This is, in reality, the only way to really influence companies of this size. DICE and EA want to sell their games. Obviously so. And they will investigate the market. They will see what might actually move copies, and they will attempt to align themselves with what appears to be the prevailing winds at the time. With Battlefield 5, they severely misread that, trusting in social media and the news networks to tell them what was actually truly popular amongst the kiddos in this day and age. With Battlefield 2042, at the very least they've looked far more towards the fandom than with 5, though some of their influences are still somewhat obvious. The whole environmental thing, the sudden changes, the tornado, and the fact that the world is apparently on the brink after a food, energy, and clean water crises, which has seen dozens of failed nations all across the earth, so that the two factions, Russia and the USA, will apparently be joined by the non-patrioted, the people without borders. Interesting, certainly. And we should also note the idea that the game will of course have a service element, like all goddamn EA games in this unfortunate timeline. There will be seasons and battle passes, which will push the narrative of the world. Well, I'll have to wait and see how that works out, of course. Though they also dumped Battle Royale as a mode as well. Good. That was always a niche thing at best and really did not fit into Battlefield in any way, shape, or form whatsoever, frankly. The new All-Out Warfare mode, though, 188 players with Conquest and Breakthrough, that sounds more along the lines of what people have actually been asking for. Bigger and cooler battles. There is also another squad-based, apparently, mode, and a third experience. I love that too. Experience. It's not a gameplay mode anymore, it's an experience, which will apparently be instantly recognizable to all Battlefield fans. Let's hope so. That is also absolutely no reason to let up on the gas, neither. Now that EA and DICE are actually listening and responding, if anything, this is the perfect time to winkle out anything and everything wrong with the iteration, and then yell at them, loudly and insistently, and maybe, just maybe, Battlefield can actually return to form. Wouldn't that be nice? I'm actually halfway excited myself, and it's been a while since I've been overly interested in a Battlefield game for one reason or another. Though, personally, I would have preferred an actual future setting rather than near future. You know, instead of good old-fashioned guns, but maybe with the additional robotic dog with a 50 cal mounted on its back, why not just have a robotic dog walker with a 20mm cannon mounted on it, a few rail guns, some orbital strikes perhaps, some VTOL spacecraft, you know, cool shit. Oh well. I guess I shall have to get over my disappointment at not being able to pilot walkers again in Battlefield. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for listening, and I hope to see you all again soon. Till then, have a good day.